live cyangwa se imbona nkubone ahangaha muri Kigali Convention Center. Televiziyo Rwanda tugiye kubagezaho imirimo y'inama mpuzamahanga y'abayobozi b'inteko zishinga amategeko ahangaha ku mugabane wa Afurika, inteko zishinga amategeko zo mu bihugu bihuriye mu muryango uhuza ibihugu bivuga ururimi rw'icyongereza cyangwa se bikoresha ururimi rw'icyongereza, umuryango wa Commonwealth. Ni inama igiye kuba ku nshuro ya 17 ihuza abaperezida b'inteko zishinga amategeko bo muri ibyo bihugu byo ku mugabane wa Afurika bisanzwe biri mu muryango wa Commonwealth. Ku nshuro ya 17 rero u Rwanda nirwo rwakiriye iyi inama igiye kubera ahangaha muri Kigali Convention Center, ikaba yitabiriwe na abaperezida b'inteko zishinga amategeko bo muri ibyo bihugu bigize Commonwealth ariko bya hano ku mugabane wa Afurika. Iyi nama rero ikaba ije mu gihe habura hafi umwaka ngo u Rwanda rwakire inama y'abakuru b'ibihugu byo muri uyu muryango wa Commonwealth ku hirya no hino ku isi. Inama izwi nka CHOGM, ni inama muziko yakabaye yarabaye umwaka ushize, iza gusubikwa kubera impamvu z'icyorezo cya COVID-19, ariko nkuko bimaze iminsi bigarukwaho by'umwihariko na Minisiteri y'Ububanyi n'Amahanga, nuko hari ikizere gikomeye ko noneho mu mwaka utaha wa 2022 hagati iyi nama y'abakuru b'ibihugu n'abaza guverinoma mu muryango wa Commonwealth izwi nka CHOGM noneho nta gisibya izabera ahangaha.
Parliament of Rwanda, the chairperson of the Executive Committee of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Africa Region, heads of parliamentary delegations, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen.
Ibiyaga n'ibirunga ngo byiduhetse gahoranisha, reka tukurate tukuvuga ibigwi, wowe utubumbiye hamwe twese abanyarwanda uko watubyaye. Berwa sugira singizwa iteka, komeza imihigo Rwanda dukunda, duhagurukiye kukwitangira, ngo amahoro asabe mu bagutuye. Wishire wizane muri byose, urangwe n'ishyaka gutera imbere, uhamye umubano n'amahanga yose, maze ijambo ryawe riguhe ijambo. All around the world, women are longing to be free, no longer in the shadows, forced to stay behind, but side by side in true equality. So sing a song for women everywhere, let it ring around the world and never, never cease. So sing a song for women everywhere, equality, development and peace. Women can't be silenced when all around the world people hurt and hungry children cry. We sing enough for justice and development and hold the lights of all the people high. So sing a song for women everywhere, let it ring around the world and never, never cease. So sing a song for women everywhere, equality, development and peace. Women now are working to build a better world, where the love of peace can rest on every shore, where men lay down their weapons and learn to love and share, and people work to bring an end to war. So sing a song for women everywhere, let it ring around the world and never, never cease. So sing a song for women everywhere, equality, development development and peace. So sing a song for women everywhere. Let it ring around the world and never, never cease. So sing a song for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, leadership of the Parliament of Rwanda, the Chairperson of the Executive Committee of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Africa Region, heads of parliamentary delegations, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, my name is Hadija Ndangiza Murangwa, the Vice Chairperson of the Political and Governance Commission at the Senate Chamber of Parliament. It is my honor to be the Master of Ceremony for this 17th Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers of the Commonwealth Africa Region, CSPOC. Mr. President, thank you for honoring this invitation despite your busy schedule. This forum continues to promote ideas and values of the Commonwealth, which Rwanda will soon share. Before your arrival, we witnessed a colorful procession of speakers and presiding officers. This conference is attended by speakers, deputy speakers, presiding officers, members of different national assemblies and officials from the following countries: Botswana, Cameroon, Ghana, Kenya, Mozambique, Namibia, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, South Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, and Rwanda. Once again, let's give our distinguished guests a warm welcome and a round of applause. Without further ado, I would now like to invite the Right Honorable Justin Muturi, Chairperson of the Executive Committee of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Africa Region, who is also the Speaker of the National Assembly of Kenya, to make his remarks.
Your Excellency, Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, the Right Honorable Dr. Augustine Mlembie, President of the Senate Parliament of Rwanda, the Right Honorable Donatile Mkabalisa, MP, Speaker of the Chamber of Deputies, Parliament of Rwanda, and the Chairperson, Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers, Africa Region, the President-designate, CPA Africa Region, and Speaker of Sierra Leone, the Right Honorable Dr. Abbas Budu, MP, the Right Honorable Speakers and Presiding Officers of the national parliaments within the Africa Region, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Rwanda, the Honorable Edouard Girente, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Rwanda, His Lordship Dr. Faustin Yayo, Government Ministers of the Republic of Rwanda, Honorable Speakers and Presiding Officers of State Houses of Assembly and Provincial Legislatures here present, Members of Parliament, members of the diplomatic community, the Regional Secretary, CPA Africa Region, special guests of honor, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to be congregated here with you today and to have the opportunity to address you. On the outset, I humbly take this early opportunity to thank His Excellency Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, for the kind gesture of scheduling time from his busy diary to honor us with his presence at this conference. I further wish to extend our gratitude to you, Your Excellency, and the people of Rwanda for the warm reception that has been extended to us since our arrival in this country of 1,000 hills. We applaud you, Your Excellency, for your transformative leadership, which has realized strides in political, economic, and social development for the people of Rwanda and the region at large. We associate ourselves with your deep commitment to promoting women empowerment and environmental awareness, which has made Rwanda one of the outstanding countries in our continent. Equally, I extend my gratitude to all the honorable speakers and presiding officers here present for your commitment to the cause of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. It has been a humbling experience for me to serve you as the chairperson of the CPA Africa Region Executive Committee, where I've made lasting networks with parliamentary leadership across the continent and globally. The diversity of issues shared at the CSPOC level is as diverse as our history and culture of its membership. Coming after the drastic restrictions on physical meetings and travel occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic, this face-to-face interaction with fellow speakers and presiding officers is welcome and greatly appreciated. Many thanks indeed to the CPA Rwanda branch and the Parliament of Rwanda in general for hosting the conference. Your Excellency, honorable speakers and presiding officers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic has exposed the vulnerability of African governments in terms of their ability to adequately and effectively deal with shocks to their economic and social structures. Limitations in health financing are far below the 15% of annual budgets agreed upon by heads of states of African Union countries at the Abuja Declaration of 2001. The disruption of our economies by the pandemic resulted in reallocation of resources from important areas such as food security, education, reproductive health, gender equality, among others, to the urgent needs of combating the pandemic. It is also evident that achievements made towards attainment of the SDGs have been negatively affected. Restrictions to movement, reduction in developed nations' commitments to aid, and the lack of vaccine equity have demonstrated the possibility of Africa being isolated and left to our own means. This is a grim picture of the situation we find ourselves in. However, this health emergency also affords us the opportunity to rethink the role and place of Africa in the global arena. As speakers and presiding officers, it behoves us to pass relevant legislations and formulate policies whose implementation will ameliorate Africa's socio-political and economic challenges. Indeed, building resilience from within Africa will insulate us from the shocks of the disruptions that are coming from outside the continent. The concept of collective self-reliance, Ubuntu, comes into play as we think of the future of Africa, mindful of the lessons learned from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Your Excellency, honorable speakers and presiding officers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as a signal of adaptation to the changes brought by the COVID-19 pandemic, the CPA Africa region has this year successfully held various meetings and conferences, both virtually and in person. The in-person meetings included the 80th Executive Committee meeting of the CPA Africa region held in Nairobi, Kenya in July. Thereafter, in October, Kenya also hosted the inaugural Commonwealth Parliamentarians with Disabilities Africa Regional Conference. And 2 weeks ago, Your Excellency, we had the 51st Commonwealth Parliamentary Association Africa Regional Conference in Abuja, Nigeria, hosted graciously by the Right Honorable Speaker Femi Bajamila of Nigeria, House of Representatives, here with us. Implementation of the resolutions adopted following these meetings and conferences will go a long way in furthering the mandates and objectives of the CPA Africa region and contribute to improving the well-being of our people across the continent. Your Excellency, honorable speakers and presiding officers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in the coming year, Kenya will be heading to the electoral polls, an exercise that will also be undertaken in several other African countries across the board. Elections, as you all know, present an opportunity for members to seek fresh mandates to exercise the sovereign power of the people. The honor and privilege to represent one's people, legislate on their behalf, and oversight other arms of government for their well-being demands a commitment that we willingly dedicate ourselves to every election cycle. It is therefore paramount that as speakers and presiding officers, whether incoming or outgoing, depending on the will of the people, we insist on free, fair, and credible elections and peaceful transitions. The close relationship that the people have with their parliaments gives us the opportunity to add our voices to the call for peace across the continent with an expectation of being heard. As speakers and presiding officers, the work we do reverberates beyond the august houses where we preside and therefore must be undertaken with utmost judiciousness. Future generations of our people will remember us with gratitude for the roles that we've played in instilling democratic principles through insisting on adherence to parliamentary practices and procedures during our tenures. In carrying out our duties without fear or favor, we expose the honorable members we preside over to order and decorum, which, as far as is possible, is translated on the ground, as we say in Kenya. Honorable speakers and presiding officers, as I conclude my remarks, allow me to thank the Right Honorable Donatile Mkabalisa, MP, Speaker, Chamber of Deputies, Parliament of Rwanda, and the Chairperson of the Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers, Africa Region, and our team for the excellent conference arrangement and the warm welcome since arriving in Rwanda. Thank you for your kind attention, and I do wish you all fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Muturi. It is now my pleasure to invite the Right Honorable Donatile Mukabalisa, Chairperson of the CSPOC Africa Region and Speaker of the Chamber of Deputies of the Parliament of Rwanda, to deliver her welcome remarks, after which she will then invite the guest of honor to officially inaugurate this conference. Madam Speaker, the floor is yours.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Right Honorable President of the Senate, Parliament of Rwanda, Right Honorable Speakers and Presiding Officers, Honorable Chief Justice, Right Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, all protocol observed. I am greatly honored to extend special thanks to you, Your Excellency Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, for having accepted to grace this event with your presence despite your tight schedule. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. On behalf of the Parliament of Rwanda and on my own behalf, I wish to welcome you all, especially our guests, speakers, presiding officers, and members of Parliament representing different African countries, members of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Africa Region. We are indeed grateful that, thanks to your respective commitment, we are able to meet today in person to attend this 17th Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers of Commonwealth Africa Region, while, of course, observing the anti-COVID-19 health protocols which have now become a part of our lives. The Commonwealth Parliamentary Association is a part of the global Commonwealth family and therefore commits and endorses all the values and principles of the Commonwealth of Nations and Peoples articulated around consensus and common action, mutual respect, inclusiveness, transparency, accountability, legitimacy, and responsiveness. The Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers of Commonwealth has always been a great platform to members of Parliament to actively contribute to the management and handling of continental and global issues facing the world. The theme of our conference, African Parliament in the 21st century, is deliberately a wake-up call to our parliamentary institutions to reconsider, review, and readjust our method of working while respecting required procedures and delivering as expected at the same time. Gatherings such as this conference are indeed an invaluable opportunity to come together as speakers, presiding officers, and members of Parliament, representatives of the people, to discuss, exchange, and share best practices on how to challenge ourselves, to respond to our people's expectation, to provoke a new thinking in order to be at the head of socioeconomic transformation. Before I conclude, I wish to once again sincerely thank you all for having honored our invitation to attend the 17th Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers of Commonwealth Africa Region in Kigali. We are certainly looking forward to a very fruitful conversation for the 3 coming days. I also wish you an enjoyable stay in our country, Rwanda. We now, with due respect, it is a great pleasure and honor for me to invite you, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, to kindly deliver your remarks to this august audience and officially open this conference. Thank you for your kind attention.
Right Honorable Justin Muturi, Speaker of the National Assembly of Kenya and Chairperson of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Africa Region, Honorable Amos Masondo, Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces of South Africa, Honorable Speaker Domitir Kabarisa, parliamentary leaders, members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by welcoming you all to Rwanda for this conference. Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, many African countries took the lead on the response with the support of their parliaments. Across the continent, parliamentarians have raised resources, awareness, and provided support for pandemic response, among other essential functions. I'd like to take this opportunity to commend you for playing your part. However, as we continue on the path to recovery, parliaments still need to be at the forefront of building Africa's resilience against mainly health, but also other threats. Here are 4 ideas I suggest for how to make progress. First, I advise all national parliaments to ratify the African Medicines Agency Treaty, which has now entered into force. This is a landmark agreement that will help ensure that vaccines and medications in Africa are both high quality and locally produced. Second, legislatures should be a driving force for the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area and the Paris Climate Accords. Both require extensive enabling legislation. Third, enacting the legal frameworks required to speed up digital transformation should be a priority. Lastly, budgetary allocations should be made towards the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals and Agenda 2063. This is particularly the case in the health sector, where there is still too much dependence on external financing. The pandemic exposed Africa's vulnerabilities and reversed some of the gains we had made. Africa is not alone in these setbacks, but we can afford it less than others. So we have to work together to get back on track with a sense of urgency. I would like to end by encouraging all of us to continue sharing knowledge, skills, and resources with one another. It is by collaborating that our individual efforts will be multiplied. Once again, you are most welcome, and I invite you to feel at home and enjoy your time in our country. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your address to this august assembly. As it is the norm in the Commonwealth parliamentary practices, I would now like to invite the Right Honorable Amos Masondo, Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces of the Republic of South Africa, to deliver the vote of thanks. Chairperson, you're welcome.
Greetings. Program Director His Excellency Paul Kagame, the President of Rwanda, host, speaker, and chairperson designate, Commonwealth speakers, and presiding officers, Africa region. Chairperson of the CPA Africa region, Honorable Justine Mutiri, fellow speakers and presiding officers, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. Program Director, it is indeed an honor to be given this rare opportunity to convey the vote of thanks as we conclude the auspicious opening ceremony for the 17th Commonwealth Speakers and Presiding Officers Conference, Africa Region, hosted by CPA Rwanda branch. On behalf of all delegates and observers, I wish to express our great appreciation for the warm welcome we have received since our arrival. We thank the leadership and the peoples of Rwanda, the land of thousand hills, for their hospitality and graciousness as hosts of this conference. The aims and objectives of this conference, as contained in the standing rules, are clear. They are to the maintenance, fostering, and encouragement of impartiality and fairness of speakers and presiding officers of parliaments. The promotion of knowledge and understanding of parliamentary democracy in various forms, and the development of parliamentary institutions. In itself, the conference is in furtherance of the values and principles of Commonwealth, which are, to mention but a few, the inalienable right of individuals or participation in democratic processes, the commitment to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and other relevant human rights covenants and international instruments. They need to promote tolerance, respect, understanding, moderation, and religious freedoms, which are essential to the development of free and democratic societies. Peaceful, open dialogue, as well as the free flow of information, and the recognition of gender equality and women's empowerment as essential components of human development and basic human rights. The African region seeks to promote and protect our interests and perspectives in the broader context of Commonwealth and beyond. Critical in this regard is the need to pursue our collective interest as a continent, the base of which is the unity of the African people. If anything, the COVID-19 pandemic has demonstrated that Africa needs to develop her own capacity to address her challenges. We saw how wealthy nations elsewhere pre-ordered billions of doses as a means of securing advanced access to vaccines, something which placed the low and middle income countries in a predicament. There is a saying that one should not get burned twice by the same flame. The African parliaments in the Commonwealth need to set an example by leveraging their shared history and tradition to promote respect for all states and peoples, and to demonstrate concern for the vulnerable. One way of doing this is by interrogating the role of African parliament in the 21st century, as this conference seeks to do, in order to guide our actions. Program Director, our esteemed guest of honor has raised important issues that are pertinent to our deliberations this week. The issues are critical, not only for the advancement of our institutions, but for the continent and the people as well. The fight against COVID-19, the need, as the President has indicated, to pursue sustainable development goals and Agenda 63 message has indeed been heard and will not be lost. Please allow me to thank CPA Rwandan branch for having all of us feel at home. I thank fellow speakers and presiding officers for continuing to make this conference an important and empowering intervention in the work that we do. As I conclude, we are looking forward with great anticipation to an insightful deliberations as well as rewarding social interaction. I thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Masondo. We have now come to the end of today's ceremony. Once again, Mr. President, we are honored for the time you have spent with us today. To our distinguished guests, we wish you a pleasant stay in Rwanda, your home away from home. Ladies and gentlemen, let us now rise as the guest of honor departs. Colleagues from protocol will now guide those going to be part of the group picture. We kindly ask everyone else to remain in the room. I thank you all and wish you a good day.
Mwari mukurikiranye uyu muhango wo gutangiza ku mugaragaro inama ya 17 y'abaperezida b'inteko zishinga amategeko hano ku mugabane wa Afurika mu bihugu bigize umuryango wa Commonwealth. Ni inama imaze gutangizwa ku mugaragaro na nyakubahwa perezida wa Repubulika Paul Kagame, aho mu by'ukuri ibihugu 18 bisanzwe muri uyu umuryango wa CSPOC hano ku mugabane wa Afurika byose biri ahangaha mu gihe kigera ku minsi hafi 5. Abakuru b'inteko zishinga amategeko ndetse n'abagize inteko ishinga amategeko muri rusange bakaba bagiye kuganira ku uruhare rwabo mu guteza imbere ibihugu ariko no kurushaho kwimakaza indangagaciro ndetse n'amahame mu muryango wa Commonwealth. Ni inama imaze gutangizwa ku mugaragaro na perezida wa Repubulika Paul Kagame washimiye mu by'ukuri abagize inteko zishinga amategeko ahangaha ku mugabane wa Afurika uruhare bagize cyangwa bakomeje no kugira muri iki gihe cya COVID-19 no guhangana n'iki cyorezo. Reka tubashimire, tubifurize gukomeza kugira ibihe byiza munogerwa na gahunda zose Televiziyo Rwanda ibagezaho.
This is a slight reminder for the afternoon program. As you all know, with the care of your protocol that's assigned to you, the afternoon program has 2 options. 1, to visit the Rwanda Genocide Memorial Center, and 2, a sightseeing of the town of Kigali. So you will communicate to your protocol and you will go as you wish to the option that you'd like to visit. Thank you.
Lebanon,